The smell of sawdust filled the garage as I leaned over my workbench, the vibration of my circular saw humming through my fingers. A board slipped, splintering halfway through the cut. My knuckles throbbed from gripping the tool too tightly. I slammed the wood down, staring at the pile of wasted material, my mind racing through all the bills I had this month. That's me, always trying to keep things together, always trying to make it work. And then I looked at the light switch. Nothing. Not a flicker. My neighbor across the street, whose house was almost identical, flicked theirs on, and the bulbs glowed. I paused. How could his electric bill be $12 this month, while mine was $340? What was I missing that could completely change the way my home consumes energy? Most people in your position assume the problem is their skill, or that they're just unlucky, or that their home is inefficient. You might even think you've tried everything. Energy-saving bulbs, timers, expensive smart plugs, and yet the bills don't budge. But the truth isn't personal, it's systemic. The villain here is what I call the energy assumption problem. It's the idea we've been sold, that electricity is a service we can't control, that dependency is inevitable, that solutions like solar or generators are too costly or complicated for average families. For years, I believed it too. I live in a typical suburban home outside Sacramento, California, with a family I love and responsibilities I take seriously. Over the last decade, I've watched friends struggle with escalating bills, seen neighbors negotiate utilities endlessly, and realized the same broken assumptions were everywhere. The energy assumption problem isn't abstract. It's the reason families overpay, why they scramble during outages, and why the moment a storm hits, comfort and safety vanish. Scenario 1. It's a Friday night. I'm trying to cook dinner, but the lights flicker. The fridge beeps, the oven clicks off. I scramble to preserve food, feeling my chest tighten as I calculate the potential waste and cost. I must be doing something wrong, I think. Maybe I just waste too much energy? Scenario 2. A winter blackout hits. Temperatures drop. I sit wrapped in blankets with my children, watching the glow of the streetlights outside. Phones are dead. The generator I bought last year sputters and coughs, too loud to use indoors, too expensive to fuel. I think I should have prepared better. I should have bought more equipment. Scenario 3. The monthly bill arrives, $340. I pinch the numbers over and over, remembering my neighbor's $12. I've insulated, I've unplugged, I've timed every appliance. Nothing works. I must be missing something obvious. I'm not smart enough to figure this out. And here's what all three of these situations have in common: the energy assumption problem. The real root cause isn't my habits, my home, or my effort. It's the system telling us dependence is normal, that complex and expensive alternatives are the only solutions. That misinformation kept me trapped in frustration, financial strain, and anxiety. What nobody tells you about home electricity is that almost every common solution is designed to fail for the average person. And the part that surprised me most? There's a method, centuries old, refined over decades, that solves all of these problems in one coherent approach. After enough failed attempts with generators, solar panels, and complex DIY experiments, I started asking a different question. What would truly allow a home to generate its own energy reliably, affordably, and safely? The answer came from an old principle Tesla explored: kinetic energy storage. At its core, it's simple physics. A spinning flywheel stores energy that can be released on demand. Nothing fancy, no fuel, no environmental dependency, just mechanical energy captured and converted. I realized that each of my previous frustrations could be solved using this method. The Friday night blackout? The flywheel powers the lights and fridge steadily, silently. The winter outage? It keeps the heater running, maintaining temperature. The monthly bill? Energy is generated at home, drastically reducing dependency on the utility grid. One neighbor I met had adapted a small-scale flywheel system for his family's home. He had an average household, 2 kids, and the setup cost under $200 in materials. After installing it, he reported savings of around $200 per month. And his setup wasn't high-tech. It was intuitive, compact, and easy to maintain. What changed everything wasn't an expensive solar array or a loud generator. It was a system designed around a timeless principle, made practical for everyday households. Slowly, the patterns became clear. Stability, efficiency, low cost, and simplicity. I know what you're thinking. I'm not handy. I don't have the space. I've tried things before and failed. Here's the reality. The setup can be done by someone with basic tools, a few hours of attention, and a willingness to follow instructions. One of my friends, a single mom with 2 young kids, assembled her own system in her basement over a weekend. Her lights and appliances ran consistently, and her bill dropped from $320 to $118 in the first month. Another neighbor, a retired teacher, set up the system in his garage. He had no prior electrical experience. After following the schematics carefully, he powered his home appliances without needing a generator or a solar permit. His household savings averaged $210 per month. This is why it works. Kinetic energy doesn't rely on weather, fuel, or complex electronics. The system is straightforward, robust, and predictable. It solves the energy assumption problem by giving homeowners direct control over their energy output. If nothing changes over the next 6 months, the scenario remains the same. Surging bills, blackout frustration, stress during storms, and incremental wear on generators or batteries that were supposed to help. Each month adds another $200 to $300 in wasted expenses and uncertainty. Now imagine making one shift, one decision to implement a principle grounded in physics, refined for home use. The same appliances continue running during outages. Bills drop steadily. Nights are warm. Food stays cold. Electronics function. Financial and emotional stress diminishes naturally. You've already done the hard part, figured out what doesn't work. The plans haven't kept up with you. This approach gives you permission to expect better results without guilt or complication. It's not about luck or skill. It's about leveraging the right system. Your previous struggles weren't failures. They were evidence of effort, persistence, and awareness. The patterns you've observed, the bills you've paid, the outages you've endured, they've taught you what to look for. The next step is simple. Explore the principles, observe how the system functions in other households, and see what those who implemented it are using. I left the link in the description with a detailed resource you can examine at your own pace. If this resonates, share your thoughts in the comments. Like if you've experienced similar frustration, subscribe for insights like these, and engage with others who are finding new ways to regain control over their homes and their electricity.